Hello. Okay, I saw your message. Hi. All right. So if you can write better in the chat, if you prefer, that's totally fine. All right. Cool. So does anyone here teach high school level students or children?
Me, Cecilia. Hello, everybody. My name is Cecilia. Hi, Sonia.
Okay.
I'm from Chiclayo. And I teach high school.
Nice. That's nice. Chiclayo is a beautiful city. All right, that's cool. Anyone else teach high school level or maybe university students? Okay, I see some people writing in the chat. Okay, secondary. Dennis teaches high school. Amparo teaches in an institute. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so we have mostly, right, English teachers here. Anyone is studying to be a teacher? Is there anyone here studying methodology maybe? They haven't started teaching yet? Oh, you work with teens, cool. Right, so the topic today is mostly about how we can improve our vocabulary or expand our vocabulary in English, and I hope that we can also use that later on in the classroom because it's pretty useful. It's some things that we can consider for class. So we're gonna start now. All right, objectives for today. Our objectives for today is to understand what figurative language is and how it is used in everyday English. And the second objective is to learn new expressions as well as create your own. Okay, so that's what we hope to do today. We're going to talk about figurative language more on, and we're also going to create our own. So getting started, you can write in the chat or you can speak out loud, whichever you prefer. Okay, have you read any books in English and which? And can you name any English or American authors? All right, so I'm going to give it a moment and look in the chat. All right, so those are the questions for today. Okay, cool. Denny is an English student. He wants to be an English teacher. That's awesome. Right, so the questions are, have you read any books in English? Which? And can you name any English or American authors? If you want to speak, I don't mind. That's totally fine. As long as you don't have any barking or crying babies. Jeremy Harmer for teaching. Wow, nice. Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. The Scarlet Letter, Hamlet. Nancy. Hey, Nancy. Okay, the book of Jeremy Harmer. Hello, hi. Jeremy Harmer's a nice author. Yeah. Great. So I see some people have read some Shakespeare. We're going to be talking a lot about Shakespeare today. That's awesome. So, right. So William Shakespeare, we just mentioned him a moment ago. Right. So he's a great English poet, playwright, author, and actor. Okay. He's going to be one of our main points for today. So some books of Shakespeare that you've probably already read in high school or maybe even in primary, right? Romeo and Juliet. Has anyone read Romeo and Juliet? I think the majority would have read Romeo and Juliet. Hamlet. Macbeth. Those are all classics of Shakespeare.
Yes.
Right. And other authors, right? Edgar Allan Poe. We can also say he's a classic American author.
Black Cat.
Great. Yeah, The Black Cat. And why do I mention William Shakespeare? Because he's considered one of the fathers of English literature. And in turn, that makes him one of the fathers of modern English. When I say that, it's because he's helped shape what English is today. So really, we wouldn't be speaking the way we're speaking without William Shakespeare. So we still use his expressions today. He's made so many books, so many novels, plays, and he's had a lot of popularity because of. So we have some Shakespearean expressions that are still used today. Here are some of them. For example, lie low, foregone conclusion, the world's mine oyster, or we say now, the world's your oyster, in stitches, faint-hearted, send him packing, vanish into thin air, own flesh and blood. So these are words that are from Shakespeare's novels, right? Has anyone heard these expressions in maybe their conversations, or maybe in their English books, their teaching English books? It's possible you might have already stumbled upon these words because they're still used now. And we're going to practice specifically with this list first. We're going to practice a bit what their definition is. So lie low is to avoid attention. You're lying low. You don't want to be seen. Maybe you don't want to be detected. Foregone conclusion, having an inevitable result, meaning there is something, it's an obvious result. The world's your oyster is similar to say anything is possible. In stitches means you're laughing a lot. It's super funny, I'm in stitches. Faint-hearted, it's not brave. It's a person that's not brave. Send him packing, get rid of someone. So get rid of someone is to, get them out, shoo them away. Vanish into thin air, disappear without trace. Own flesh and blood is a blood relative. So these are words that Shakespeare has created, and we're going to see how we can use these in conversational English. You might say, oh, these are old. No, they're still used. So how can I use this in conversational English? I'm going to give you a second. I want you to look at this picture I'm going to show and try to remember, right, this list. We're going to try to remember what they meant, okay, what they mean. All right, so the first picture, what do you think is the expression? Is it moving? I don't know if it's moving for you guys. I'm not sure if it's moving for you guys. It's not moving for me.
No, it is not moving.
No.
Okay. It's supposed to be a GIF. I don't know why it's not moving. Weird. Maybe because I'm sharing it here. Oh my goodness. Well, later on I'll send the PowerPoint anyway, so you can get a better look at it. So the guy is doing this. He's basically doing this in the picture. And the word is lie low, right? Or avoid attention or detection. And we can use this, for example, he's lying low because his ex just walked by. Or we can also say, for example, Penny's been lying low lately. I haven't seen her post anything on social media. So these are words we still use. Let's see if the next one moves. It doesn't move. Anyways, you'll have the PowerPoint later on. I'll be able to send it. So maybe you've seen it because of the sticker. This person disappears, or he vanishes into thin air. So disappear without a trace is vanish into thin air. We can say, I went to visit my friend, but when I asked him to pay me back, he vanished into thin air, right? So he disappeared when I started looking for him for money. Okay, well, this one, I guess we could use it. What do you think is the expression for this one? In this one, it's faint-hearted or not brave. So I could say, I saw The Exorcist last night. That movie is not for the faint-hearted. So it's for people, it's not for people who are scared easily. If you're faint-hearted, you're scared. Okay, the next one. Well, we could also kind of guess what it is without it moving. Anyone know the movie?
Yeah, remember that you can use the chat box if you don't have a microphone. Some people are writing on the chat box. They're telling their answers.
Okay.
Star Wars.
Right, Star Wars.
Floor, on, flesh, blood.
Yeah, flesh and blood, or blood relative. And we could say Luke wasn't adopted.
Yes.
Anakin's flesh and blood. Right? So he was Anakin, or he was his flesh and blood. That's another expression by Shakespeare. Okay, well, I don't know why the GIFs are not moving. That's sad. Anyways, this is in stitches or laughing a lot. We can say that joke got me in stitches. It's got me laughing a lot. And if you've seen this, if you've seen the show, you might already know what's happening in this image. But basically, what he does is he throws him out, right? So he sends him packing. He sends him packing. My father doesn't like my friend coming over, so he sent him packing. There's a mistake. It's not blood relative. Send him packing is when you throw someone out. Okay, well, I kind of know what this is, right? The movie is super famous. The Titanic, foregone conclusion, having an inevitable result. We can say when the passengers felt the Titanic tip over, their death was a foregone conclusion. Right, so those were just a few of the expressions. Oh, the final one. The world's your oyster, anything is possible. Tony can do anything he puts his mind to. The world is his oyster. Right, so that was just a peek into Shakespeare, because Shakespeare has created so many expressions that maybe you've already used it and you didn't even know. Okay, so that's just a few. Here's a few more, but we're not going to go through all of them because there's more than 1,000. Shakespeare is still around us to this day. We always say these words. Maybe you've used them. So-so. A lot of teachers always say so-so, right? We can also say maybe wild goose chase, full circle, laughing stock, what's done is done. All of these are examples of Shakespeare. And I'm sending here some links where we can practice with Shakespeare English. I know that the Shakespearean language is difficult to understand sometimes, but there's this really cool website called No Sweat Shakespeare, and it helps. It has actually simplified Shakespeare for people. So sometimes people use this in high school because maybe it's too Shakespeare might be too difficult for them, so they use the No Sweat Shakespeare to understand him more. And also I found this cool part in the BBC where they try to teach a bit of Shakespearean expressions. I thought that was cool. And then if you want to go, you want to go to the classic, the original, here at MIT, we have the full transcripts of Shakespeare's novels and plays. So I encourage you to give it a try, because Shakespeare is one of the bases of English, and you'll definitely find a word that you've seen already in modern times. All right, so why is Shakespeare important? Why do you guys think Shakespeare is important? We kind of mentioned it a few times, but why exactly is Shakespeare important? I'm going to give it a moment to look into the comments a moment, what you think. Why is Shakespeare important?
It's critical from
Okay, I see your comments now. Because I'm sharing with the browser, and this computer doesn't let me use PowerPoint, but I can share with the browser. So why do you guys think Shakespeare is important? Why is it important? Maritza, you like Shakespeare. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's see. He is an excellent writer. He was a famous writer because he was a well-known writer and became famous for his books. Yeah, good. But what does Shakespeare got to do with English and learning English? What does that got to do? Let's think about it a minute. Because in his writing, he used different styles of writing which are now in some way used. His books are classicals. Yes, Milliam, right. That's exactly it. Because in his writing, he used writing that is, we can say, figurative language. And that's what we were going to talk about today. Shakespeare uses figurative language in his work. So what is figurative language? Can you guys give a moment to try to think about that? What is figurative language? We're going to see what you know. Let's see. Language that is not literal but symbolic. You got it. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to put their opinion on that? What is figurative language? Milliam pretty much sums it up. What? Sorry, repeat.
But a different way.
Okay, yeah. When you want to just express something in a different way, right?
Something, but in different way.
Yeah, right. You want to express something in a different way, right? It's kind of informal language. Could be.
He used metaphors.
Okay, yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Metaphors. Yeah. He made a great contribution to the English literature and culture. It's a new language, metaphors. Right. Okay.
Metaphors, yes.
So figurative language is when you express ideas indirectly, or symbolically, creative and artistic use of language by adding new meaning and context beyond literal facts. So when we use some figurative language, we're not really being literal. We're just being symbolic, just like Milliam stated before. Good. So are idioms part of figurative language? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Are idioms part of figurative language? Dennis says yes. Okay. Orieli says yes. Flor says yes. Nancy says yes. Correct. The answer is yes, of course. So idioms are part of figurative language. And we also have other types of literary, I can't say the word, literary devices. Anyways, who else can think of another one apart from idioms? Similes, metaphors, and personification. They're also part of figurative language. And these are the ones we're going to focus on today. There's obviously a few more. We have onomatopoeias, we have hyperboles, analogies, which are basically metaphors and similes. And we're going to talk about these four today. So first one, I'm going to send this picture. What do you think we can say about this picture? Maybe someone's already seen the movie, or maybe you've already seen this expression. What do you think we could say about that picture? When you see that picture, what's the first thing that comes to mind? I'm going to take a look at the chat and see. Delicious, sweet and delicious.
Sweet.
Oh, we got to stock up, right?
Yes.
Sweet, okay.
Sweet.
Interesting.
To be a present.
All right, so a lot of people remember So this is good. You guys are thinking sweet, delicious, right? These are all literal meanings, right? There it is. Guillermo's got it. That's the right one. So life is like a box of chocolates. Life is like a box of chocolates. Has anyone heard this expression before?
Mhm.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, right. It was from the movie Forrest Gump. That's true. Yeah, so Forrest Gump mentioned
No?
life is like a box of chocolates.
No,
And
no.
why does he say that? Why does he say that? Does anyone know? So imagine you have your chocolate box, right? And they're all covered. And you're not sure which is the one you like. So you have to kind of guess. And that's what he's comparing. Exactly, life is a surprise. That's what he's saying. Good job, Amparo, right? He's saying life is a surprise. Life is like a box of chocolates. So you never know what you're going to get. And this is a great example of a simile. Okay? So what's a simile? I'm going to put this picture here. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind when you start again? Anyone know where that comes from? Does anyone know? Is anyone a fan? Does anyone know? Let's see if anyone's a fan. I'm pretty sure Celia knows.
Katy Perry.
So, right. Katy Perry.
Katy
Do you
Perry.
ever like a plastic bag? She's not really feeling like a plastic bag, but she's trying to compare, right? It's a direct comparison between two ideas. And there's something very important with similes. There's keywords like or as. Normally in a simile, we always use like or as to compare. All right, so for example, instead of saying Tanya is a slow walker, she's extremely slow, we can be a bit more descriptive and you can say, walking behind Tanya is like walking behind a turtle. It's a little rude, but I mean, it's real. This is how Americans, how English speakers talk. We use similes all the time. And I'm pretty sure you've heard it in other music or maybe in the movies. And later on, I have a video of a great pile of music that is used with similes and other things. So we're comparing something to emphasize the meaning, right? So, right, turtles walk slowly, and Tanya is a slow walker, so I'm comparing them, right? Next, metaphors. Right, baby, you're a firework. Still Katy Perry, right? Now, what's different with metaphors? What's different with metaphors? So here we're comparing and we're creating an implied connection between two ideas, right? So we're saying, baby, you're a firework, as opposed to her boyfriend, her girlfriend, whatever. So you're not really a firework, you're a person, right? But we're comparing those two ideas, right? So we're applying a word or phrase to an object or action, which is not literally applicable, right? We don't use like or as in these, right? So let's see, how can we use that in conversation? Instead of, my mother doesn't understand me, you can say, my mother thinks I'm a puzzle, right? So why puzzle? What's the idea with puzzle? Right, you used to compare, right? So a puzzle sometimes can be confusing. So we can use it to symbolize that she doesn't understand, right? So it's a lot of symbolization. Now I want you to try, okay? Is it a simile or a metaphor? I'm gonna give you a moment. I want you to think about them. We have here 10 examples of similes and metaphors. I want you to think, which is it, a simile or a metaphor? yeah, you could also say kind of complicated, right? She doesn't understand. She's kind of complicated. Good. So my life is a dream. What do you think that is? Is it a simile or a metaphor?
Metaphor. Metaphor.
Right, it's a metaphor. My life is a dream. It's a metaphor. 2, math is like a puzzle that never ends. Simile, good. Lillian's got it. Simile, right, is like. Do you see the word like? So that means it's a simile. My mother is an angel, always watching over me. Great. Metaphor. It's a metaphor.
Metaphor.
4, love is a flower that grows and becomes more and more beautiful. What do you think? Love is a flower that grows more and more beautiful. Metaphor. Metaphor, right? Word metaphor. Number 5, my mother is beautiful with hair that is soft as a cloud. Simile, good. Simile. Soft as a cloud, right? The as a cloud. That's actually really used all the time. We always compare something with clouds. Soft as a cloud. 6, this is a sea of sadness. Number 6, metaphor. Metaphor. The city is a sea of sadness. 7, the ocean waves hit the beach like 1,000 hammers. Number 7, what do you think? Simile. That's right. Number 7, like 1,000 hammers. 8, life is the light in my life. Oh, that's kind of a tongue twister. My wife is the light in my life. Metaphor, right? My wife is the light in my life. 9, watch out for John. He's a sneaky snake. Number 9, sneaky snake.
Simile.
9 is a metaphor.
Metaphor.
He is a sneaky snake. Remember, we can find a simile if it uses like or as most of the time. And 10, when my brother fell, he howled like a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10, simile. Simile, good. Right. So you could say, well, this is more for writing. It's true, we use it a lot in writing, but it's also used in conversation and also in pop culture. It's used a lot in pop culture. So we're going to create our own right now. We're going to have a moment. I want you to think about a metaphor or simile, okay? And we're going to use these topics. For example, love, your day, your personality, someone you know, your favorite movie or book or place. I put my example. Being in Huaraz is like being in heaven. That's a simile, right? Is like. So if you can write it in the chat, that'd be awesome. Or in the WhatsApp group. I don't know if people are writing in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are writing in there.
So good.
Oh no, okay. So we're writing in the chat, in the G chat. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Sorry. Oh, I like that. Or I'm as sweet as chocolate. Nice. Million. My nephew is the sun in the darkness. Awesome. Those are great metaphors. Metaphor and a simile. Anyone else? Who else can tell us one of their examples? Love is like a rainbow with different colors. Cool. My baby is the sunshine in my life. Awesome. Those are all awesome examples. So sometimes I guess some people don't consider using these when they're studying English, but it's really used a lot, and it'll help you be a lot more natural when you're speaking. Let's see, learning English is like to sing your favorite song. Okay, it's like singing your favorite song. I'm busy as a bee. Nice. My heart is like gold. My family is the light of my eyes. Awesome. Your eyes are like the stars sky. Okay, the stars in the sky. Cool. My love is a present. You guys have a lot of examples. He eats like a pig. Yeah, that's a really common expression, actually. All right, so let's continue on. I guess, wait, one more. Classes with my students is like being between friends. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So those were metaphors and similes. Now we're gonna move on to personification. Here we have, I walk a lonely road. What do you think personification is? What could be personification? It's pretty different from metaphors and similes. What do you think it is?
The personification.
Being in the quarantine is like my social life. Okay. Taking the role of a character. It is to give life to things. Oh, I like that. I like that definition. Giving life to things. Yeah, that's it, basically. Right? So describing a non-human object and giving it human characteristics. Right? So you're giving life, we can say. For example, here, the object is the road, but we're describing the road with a human characteristic that is lonely. A road doesn't have feelings, but we're just describing the road because it's deserted. So I walk a lonely road. Nice. So how do we do that? We can say, instead of there was lightning during the night, you can say lightning danced across the sky, right? So here we're saying lightning danced, right? So that is a human attribute, and lightning is not a human object.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna try together. We're gonna identify and explain each personification. 1, Anna doesn't keep any secret from her diary. What do you guys think is the personification there? Anna doesn't keep any secret from her diary. Yesterday's the past, tomorrow's the future, but today is a gift. Diary, okay, yeah. So we're personifying the diary, no? We're saying we don't keep secrets from our diary. A diary doesn't know, doesn't feel, doesn't think, but we're giving it that human characteristic, correct? 2, the skyscraper stretches to the sky. Stretches to the sky. Right, the skyscraper. The skyscraper is just a building, an object. And we're saying he can stretch right? Stretch is to, in Spanish, estirar, we can say. And 3, the waves gently touched his feet. Waves, right? So the waves touched or gently touched, right? As if it has any other way of touching, right? Like a human, right? Humans can touch. We can maybe hit, we can touch gently, right? But a wave, it just moves because it's not human. Right, so I put a picture here of a little coffee cup, and I want to try to give you a moment to give your example. How can we personify the coffee cup or the picture? What do you think we could say about the picture? Using personification, right?
Mm. Mm.
What can we say about the coffee cup?
The coffee cup. The coffee cup.
Oh, cool. Coffee wakes you up when you don't want. Milliam, nice. The cup invites to feel their warm touch. Wow. Dennis, that's really poetic. Cool.
Yeah.
What else can we say? I was thinking, I'm gonna write it. My idea was the coffee cup waits.
Yeah.
What could we say? The owner waits for his demise. That's really dramatic, actually. The coffee wakes up your senses. Okay. Cool. All right, those are all good examples. Good job, guys. The coffee cup smells like you. Oh, that's a nice one. Okay. All right, guys. So, and now on to idioms. Are we on the same page? We're not literally looking at a book, but we're asking, do you understand where we are? Right? Do you understand me? Are we doing good right now? So, idioms, we're just phrases or figurative or non-literal phrase or expression, right? Instead of, I told my friend a secret, you can say, I couldn't keep the secret in any longer and let the cat out of the bag. Does anyone know what the idiom is there? Can anyone identify the idiom in that example? Fill my coffee cup in this night train of my head. Aurora, right, the cat out. Let the cat out the bag. No literal meaning. There is no real cat. Right? So there's no real cat. It just means I told a secret. Right? So these things, these phrases don't actually mean what they say. They're just describing, right? They're just describing it. So I'm going to give you a moment. These are some common idioms you've probably already seen. Let's see if you can figure out what they mean. So number 1, cost an arm and a leg. Cost an arm and a leg. 1B, Lourdes says 1B, expensive, right? It costs an arm and a leg, it's very expensive, right? So iMac costs an arm and a leg. 2, eat a horse. What do you think could be eat a horse? All right, everyone says 2A, good. Good job. Hungry. I could eat a horse, I'm starving. That's a normal expression used all the time. 3, let the cat out of the bag. We already mentioned it. 3E, right, tell someone a secret. 4, couch potato.
See?
Potato.
4B, you got it. 4B, a person who does not move from the TV.
Oh, sorry.
If you're a couch potato, you're just a lazy person. And finally, 5, spill the beans. C, all right, tell someone what happened. Yes. So if you spill the beans, you're telling your friend, oh, what's up, right? Oh, I spilled the beans. Good, guys. So we could go on with idioms forever because there's literally thousands of idioms. Oh, I forgot about this, right? So just in case you didn't get it, there we go. All right, so some common English idioms you've probably already seen: in touch, or in contact, or in communication. Beat around the bush. Avoid saying what you mean. Better late than never. Better to arrive late than not come at all. Break a leg is good luck. Call it a day. Stop working on something. Easy does it. Slow down. Get out of hand is get out of control. Hang in there is don't give up. Let's not hold someone responsible for something. And next one, miss the boat, it's too late. Make a long story short, tell someone briefly. No pain, no gain, you have to work for what you want. So literally there's thousands we could go over. I'm gonna share here some nice pages. Let's see if it works. I wanna see if it works. Maybe my YouTube page will work. Oops. The YouTube page doesn't work, but wait, we can do. So I'm sharing here this page. I could share those Shakespeare pages in a moment too. Here, this page 7esl.com. It has thousands of American idioms you can practice because we could literally go all day, every day, and it will not end. There's thousands of idioms to use, and it's just with practice and using them in your everyday conversation. That's how we can practice using idioms, right? And even there's idioms for different situations, maybe for relationships or for maybe fitness, etc. Right? So there are thousands. I would recommend, if you'd like, to check out this site. It's really useful. And then this other one I thought was cool was IELTS preparation, and what it has is some practice ways. Can you see I'm not sure if you're looking at the screen. Are you looking at
No, Sonia, you're not showing your screen.
Oh my God, I thought I was showing the screen.
You are not showing your screen.
Give me a second. Okay, I guess sharing now. I thought I was sharing. All right. Yeah? I'm going to go back to that page.
Yeah, you're.
You can see now?
Yes, now.
Yeah, now you're sharing all
Okay,
your
you guys-
windows. Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So this is the page I was talking about before, the 7ESL page. And all the idioms it has, for us. Maybe you've already explored it. That's awesome. And I was mentioning, right, so the way we can practice these are basically using them. That's the only way we will practice them, is using them, practicing them every day with our conversation. And then this page here, right, was some practice exercises that you could use here. So getting my car fixed is going to cost me, and then we have these options. So we already saw this before. Does anyone remember getting my car fixed is going to cost me? Which one of these could we use best? We've seen it already in the PowerPoint. I'm gonna check the chat because I can't see at the same time. Yes, arms and legs, or oriele, nice. Arms and legs, an arm and a leg. okay? As the engine has completely blown, but I have no choice, I need it for work. So we're just gonna check that one. And it was correct. Nice. So they got it correct. And I think it's a useful page so that you can practice using idioms. It also helps with this exam, but mostly just so that you will be able to practice using those expressions. And then, let me go back.
Por WhatsApp, ahorita vienes en 10 minutos. En 10 minutos, 10 minutos.
Wait a moment. Okay, all right, so here we go. I wanted to share with you the pages I was mentioning before about Shakespeare. I didn't know we could open them. Well, let's open them. Here we go. Just real quick, I thought that was cool. Right, so this was the page I was mentioning about the BBC using Shakespeare. Really cool. You could even use these maybe in class if you have maybe secondary or an institute course. I think these are really cool if you use in class. They're really useful, and everyone uses those expressions anyways. Oh, and this was the page where you can find all of Shakespeare's work, the complete works of William Shakespeare. And this was the simplified version of Shakespeare's work. So we could, so anyone could anyone could read it, and there's a dictionary. There's always a dictionary when you read Shakespeare, right? So this is the page. Like you could look up, for example, let's look Romeo and Juliet. Oops, Romeo and Juliet. I'm sharing the screen, right? I hope I am. So let's see. Right. So this is the page that I was mentioning, and you use for practicing English. So here it is. It's in modern simplified English. You see here? Oh, there's even already we have a metaphor. Verona was coming to life. A really cool website, and I encourage you to check it out. It's really cool. All right, so just to finish, we're almost done here. I'll get rid of this. There we go. All right, so any questions, comments, or feedback about what you've seen today? Maybe about using English, using idioms in English, or using other figurative language in English. I'm going to take a look at the comments and see what you say. So all of these things we could also include in class. And I think it'd be fun to use. Where can we check the links? Oh, I'm going to send, I guess, I'll send those links to the WhatsApp group later on, and then we'll be able to check them out.
Then we're going to upload all the content on the platform. Yes, so don't worry. It will be there today to me. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, Celia says we're going to upload it. It's cool. And those are really cool things you can use in class as well. It's great to put in practice in class, right? To remember some words. Great. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. Yeah, because I mean, the way we can expand our vocabulary, I mean, it seems something that we always say to students, you know, read. But really, it is reading classic literature, even taking baby steps, you know, maybe a few poems or any any other short stories, you know. Edgar Allan Poe has short stories. And, you know, it's a way we can use authentic language in our class also. All right, guys, thanks for your input. I hope you enjoyed it. And next week, we'll be practicing pronunciation, right? Cool. All right, guys, I'm glad you learned something or you reviewed something you've already known. And I hope that next week we'll be able to practice more things together. Right, so yeah, the point is to just have fun with English, and you know, anything you need, I'm here in my Facebook page or this email if you want. And as Celia said, the information will be put on the ESL page, right, Celia, on ELT Place.
Sonia.
Yeah, we will put the information.
Okay, cool.